So here we have a designer, sorry. Pretty designer there. This is what we do today. We have a user here, and we just observe the object, service or product that we want to create, and we looked at the user last, because that user is who the product is going to. But in the second order thinking, things is very different. In the second order thinking, you want to have a designer here, and this designer is going to be looking at not just the user here, but he's going to be also looking at the object. Oops, not left here. And then the interaction that goes back and forth between both in the environment. This is very important. Sometimes in the first order thinking, we forget what is to look at the environment. We just think of the user. I remember I used to consult for a firm that I cannot display, and they designed a toy. Here's how it works. The marketing people get the information, tell you everything about the consumer, in this case kids, and they slap it on your table, and you go on and you work and you design that super next toy that's going to revolutionize the world. Well, the toy was a total failure. And why was that? Was because they did not think about the interaction of the kids with other users, which in each case was their parents. Parents hated the toy, the kids loved the toy, but the interaction between kids and parents and the environment where it was happening, the toy was too loud. So it went out into the market, picked up a little bit, and just failed. Like, faster than a rapid. So what I learned there too was that we do not take the second order approach. We don't understand the users. And that's why people are today so focused in design thinking in business, because that's what gives us more information about the user and the environment and that object. In my tactile map, for example, we were talking about the maps, and we were adapting those maps to the finger, but they were maps that were designing for the eyes. And that's because we never went outside to follow a blind person and see how they would use this map. It was already given that the person will look at the map before they left the house, because it's so big and bulky, and perhaps carried it as a book or an atlas almost in their backpack to stop somewhere and look at the information if they got lost. I mean, this is not convenient. And we are in a world of convenience and speed, so blind people also have that right, I believe. But many people tell me, well, why are we going to spend all this money on blind people? You know, the US alone has what, about 307 million people today? But there is just about 1 million blind people. And those million is not enough as a market, especially if you're thinking about cost-benefit analysis in business. But even companies as Apple have been able to make that leap and think about it. In fact, thanks for Apple taking that attitude is that today I'm able to design navigation apps that serves the sighted and the blind and users with wheelchairs today, all in one. But if Apple had not taken that approach of making a real human-centered design, it would never have happened. I would still be battling with assistive technology and talking softwares for our GPS. And sincerely, how many of us want to have 5 gadgets that you have to carry in 2 hands? So understanding the context is important exactly because of that. Without second order thinking, you can't understand the context. But without participatory design, you cannot understand the context either. And in all the literature research I did on tactile maps, I found out that the blind people came into the research a lot later, after many things had been decided. And you need to have the blind in there from the get-go. That's what I did. I destroyed basically most of my research, and I started from scratch under the direction of Richard Brenham and the design department. And we tested everything, both in blind users and sighted users. And we found out that their cognitive tools were pretty similar. But you have to have that context. And when it came time to do prototyping, it was really hard because it's very easy to go to Balsamiq. You do an iPhone app, put in a little paper, you print it out, hand it over to your user, and then they just walk around, look at the paper, switch. And I had to come up with a prototype that was going to work for the blind. And I was only able to be creative in that prototype process because I both know I have expertise in being blind, therefore I understand about household appliances that are used for assistive technology, and I'm also an interaction designer, so therefore I know how to task users and I know how to do prototyping. And that's when I was able to create a prototyping using what we call a pen friend. Because a paper doesn't work for blind people, but having a little device that they can touch and hear the sound, I could then test them with a very low fidelity prototype in order to make better prototypes that are high fidelity later. And that way I'm saving money, saving time, and understanding better. So I hope you have enjoyed today. I hope you enjoyed today, and if you want to know all the details about the research, videos, and so on, please come back for my seminar. Thank you very much.